لا والله هو الواحد بيستفيد بس يعني not يعني مش دلوقتي خالص يعني. Okay, so let's complete. قلنا يا جماعة. So what are the most important rules to manage our classes? The first one is, you remember, respect. The second,
Respect to yourself and your peers and your teacher. Raising your
yeah,
hand
the
when
second,
to speak. Following all directions
yes.
quietly the first time they are given.
Yeah, exactly. That's really right. And we have to tell them to or ask them to choose what kind or what is the best way to follow if they do the all the rules or follow the rules. And we have to ask them what to choose or to choose some ways or some ideas. If they do not follow the rules, what shall we do with them? Because when the choice is there, it will be of course more effective with them. Okay. So here, let's see classroom routines and procedures for elementary checklist. Here are some very important ways or steps to follow. Classroom management examples that work. The first idea is connect with your students. After we have set the rules or set the norms for our learners and told them about what should they do and what will happen if they do not follow the rules, we can tell them, or we can as teachers apply or try to make our classes learner centered by using these techniques. The first technique is connect with your students. And do you remember how to connect with our students? Do you remember how do we build rapport at the very beginning to be connected with our students? Do you remember? How can we become or connect with our students? How can we connect with them?
Give them instructions, some instructions. For example, Simon
Okay,
says,
we
stand
have
up,
already
sit
told them.
down.
Yes, we have already told them all the instructions. But how can we become more close to our learners and connect with them? Which ways can we do with them to be more connected?
To be friendly and ask about
Give
them.
them
Yeah, to be friendly, to use their
be
social
friendly. Yes.
language. This is
Yes.
very important.
And
When the
to-
teacher asks, how are you, Ahmed? How are you, Muhammad? What did you have for breakfast? عملت إيه امبارح? This is we call social language. To come closer to their hearts, to ask them about their manner, about their interests and hobbies, maybe to ask them about their families, their brothers and sisters, and so on. So let's check. One of the most important classroom management examples that work is to connect with your students. In order to have a good classroom management strategy, you need to reach them on a one-on-one level, as if you are their friends, you are a young kid like them or in their age. Once you make that connection, your students will be eager to please and, of course, come closer to you. So the first important point or technique is to be connect your students. The second example, classroom management that work, start with expectations. What do you mean by expectations? To start with the students or the learners' expectations. How can we start with their expectations? Can you tell me how? How can we start with their expectations?
ask them what they like and what they don't like, what they
Excellent. That's it.
want to be in the
It's
future.
very important. Yeah, it's very important from the very beginning, especially the first week of school, to ask your learners, what do you like? What don't you like? What do you want to be in the future? ببساطة شديدة يا جماعة، تحبوا إيه يا ولاد؟ طب مين أكتر حد من المدرسين بتحبوه لو كانوا طبعا أكبر؟ Especially if it is the first time you teach this class, you teach it for the first time أو بندرس له لأول مرة. مهم جدا إن أنا أقول للولاد بتحبوا مين اكتر مستر او مس بتحبوها يا ولاد. هقول لك مثلا مستر فلان او مس فلان. طب ليه؟ هقول لك علشان هو بيعاملنا كويس، بيحترمنا، مش بيزعق لنا، بيشرح لنا كويس، عنده ضمير. يبقى نبدأ نعرف we try to know what they like from the teacher himself as a teacher. The second part is what about the subject? How do they want you as a teacher to explain the subject? طب بتحبوا يا ولاد نشرح الدرس ازاي؟ مين يشتغل اكتر؟ نحضر في البيت، نقرا الدرس في البيت، ولا انا اشرح واسالكم؟ هيبداوا يقولوا لك طب ايه اكتر حاجه بتخافوا منها مثلا في الانجليش؟ هنلاقي مثلا بالنسبه للكبار يقولوا ميس الدايلوج، احنا we hate the dialogue, we hate the paragraph، احنا بنكره الدايلوج وبنكره الباراجراف. يبقى احنا بنبدا من البدايه when we ask them or we start with expectations. لما بنعرف منهم هم بيحبوا ايه مش بيحبوا ايه الشخصيه المفضله بالنسبه لهم as a teacher, who is their favorite kind of teacher, how do they like the subject to be taught، ازاي بيحبوا الماده تدرس لهم، what are their fears and their horror parts، ايه الاجزاء اللي بترعبهم او بيخافوا منها. we start to ground the pavement كده or the way to focus, to give more focus on these points of weaknesses, to give more focus on their likes and interests and hobbies, how to deal with them, how to be more close to them, how to assist them, and how to feel more relaxed with the teacher and express themselves. And this is very important, to know their likes and dislikes, to know their points of weaknesses, to know the kind of teacher which is lovable for them and the kind of teacher we have to avoid, what kind of rules and instructions, and this helps us more to more manage our classes when we ask them about their expectations. وبنعمل ده كمان يا جماعة in different ways باللي هو البري-تست الامتحان القبلي or needs analysis. لو احنا بنعمل كمان نعمل كده زي فورم او باي observation زي ما نهى قالت قبل كده ان احنا بنلاحظ الولاد كده في اليوم الاول، بنلاقي ولد لما جينا غنينا بيحب يسمع اغاني، في ولد تاني بيحب يرسم، في ولد تاني او في طلاب تانيين بيحبوا الصور. يبقى the second important technique is to start with expectations. Do you know what is the first technique? Do you know what is the first example to manage your
our students?
Yeah, excellent. Connect with the students. يبقى the first main technique with managing your classroom is connect with the students. The second, start with expectations. Now you are friendly together. They can tell you what they like and dislike. So the second point is start with expectations, okay? So one, on that first day of school, start your year off strong by going over your expectations. Your students need to know more what to expect from them in order for them to meet those expectations. وvice versa يا جماعة. وبالنسبة لنا احنا كمان as teachers, we have to tell our students about our expectations from them. And this comes from motivation. يعني احنا كمان as teachers المفروض نقول للولاد ان شاء الله يا ولاد السنة دي انا متوقع ان شاء الله ان انتوا هتكونوا ممتازين واشطر ولاد، وعارف ان انتوا شطار وهتبدعوا وهتعملوا شغل جميل وحاجات جميلة. we never feel shy to ask me as a teacher. يعني ما نخجلش ابدا نسأل. we are all friends, we are all siblings. كلنا هنا اخوات boys and girls. ما حدش يتكسف ان يقول اصلا مثلا حد من صحابي هيضحك عليا او هيتريق عليا. no problem at all. never feel shy or never feel afraid to express yourself. ما نخافش ان احنا نعبر عن نفسنا. وفي نفس الوقت انا كتيتشر متوقع منكم ان شاء الله ان احنا نبقى احسن فصل، ودايما بنقول ايه ده انتوا ان شاء الله تبقوا احلى فصل في المدرسة كلها. So when we talk about start with expectations, we mean both the expectations the students need from the teacher and the expectation the teacher needs from his students. Okay, so this is very important. And of course, by morning routine, when we ask them about to be polite, we ask them about themselves, we ask about what they did yesterday. All these kinds of things are very effective and valuable to connect with the students and of course to start with their expectations. What about example number 3 or the third technique? Teach and reteach. Can you tell me how to teach and reteach? We all know teach. We are all excellent at teach. What about reteach? Do you know how to make the word reteach more active, more effective and active with students? What do you mean by teach and reteach? Can you guess? Who will teach? Who will teach?
The teacher.
Yeah.
And who will reteach?
The teacher also.
The teacher, okay. But what about the students or the learners to teach and reteach? Can students teach and reteach?
They can reteach.
Yes.
What about teach? Can students teach?
By modeling?
Have a
Yes,
minute.
giving
Have a,
instructions.
have a minute to think about it. Can students teach and reteach? Think about it and tell me how.
By imitate the teacher?
Yeah. So students can be a model of the teacher.
Model.
Okay.
Yes, it can be a model too.
Yes.
Sure.
And when do they
Activity.
when can they teach? If
In
the
an
teacher
activities.
In
In
groups?
activities.
by
Something activities.
yeah,
Yes.
activities, but what about, is it important for the teacher to be only teaching or to be a mentor to the students?
Yes, to be a mentor.
Yeah. So if the teacher is a mentor, the students will do the whole task. They will teach and reteach. The teacher will just be a guide and a facilitator. The teacher can ask them to read about a topic at home, and this strategy we all applied the last year when we used the flipped classroom. Do you remember the flipped classrooms? Using online classrooms, using Zoom, to ask students to start at home to prepare the lesson, come to the classroom to give a demonstration, of course, simple demonstration by the help and support of the teacher. So students can teach and reteach. It depends on the teacher himself. Is he only a teacher? Is his classroom a centered, a teacher-centered classroom or a learner-centered classroom? So students can teach and reteach. They can teach the whole lesson. The teacher can give them feedback and only ask them to give reflections. And they can reteach by using or changing this lesson into activities and or do some tasks applying to the lesson, okay? So it depends on the teacher, the level of students, and the age of students to teach and reteach. So let's check. Set up the routine and expectations the first week of school and model. And this is very important. Model, practice, model, practice, and practice. So it's very important if you want to train your learners to be teachers, to teach and reteach, to model at first. And of course, as you told me, the students will imitate the teacher. So the teacher should be a very successful model for all the learners. After modeling, practice, model, practice, and practice. And this is very important. So the teacher should be a model for the students. He can ask them and encourage them to practice. Model again, practice, 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 practice again till they are perfect and professional at this task. Okay, so how many examples and techniques till now for a very effective classroom management? How many techniques till now? The first one was connect with what? Connect with?
Connect with the students.
Yeah, connect with the students. The second part is
To be friends, starting with expectations.
excellent, excellent, wonderful, Mr. Ahmed. Start with expectations. And the third part is teach and reteach. Who will teach and reteach? The teacher, the student, or both of them?
Both of them, the teacher and the
Yeah,
students.
of course, both of them, by modeling and practice, modeling and practice, practice, practice. So the teacher will be a model at the beginning, and after that the students, and by practice the students will be professional at teaching and teaching, of course. After that, we can come to a very important point also, keep them engaged. Of course, if we go in sequence, if we start by connecting with the students, meeting their expectations, and of course, after meeting their expectations, we teach and become a good model for them, and they reteach. Of course, this is a real result. All the students will be engaged. Okay, so keep them engaged, stay positive, and to keep them engaged, of course, the teacher should stay positive all the time. You should be motivating and inspiring the students all the time. Yeah, you can do it. Excellent. Amazing. Good job. Praise words and phrases. When you use them to motivate your learners, they will be magic words to keep them engaged and involved, of course. So stay positive and keep them engaged with the management program. you use. When they buy into it, of course, when they become familiar with all the rules, their behavior is better, which is good for your sanity, your health. As a teacher, you'll feel healthy dealing with them, using lots of brain breaks when the kids are getting restless or losing their focus. Here, it's very important to have some time for rest with your learners. When you feel that they have absorbed a big amount of information, you can have some rest by using games, activities, and so on, okay? So let's memorize all of them. The first one is connect with the students. The second, let's memorize them together. The second one was
Start
Starting
with
with expectation.
expectation.
excellent. Number 3, yeah, very good.
Teach and
Number
And
3,
reteach.
reach and reteach, wonderful. 4,
Keep them
keep
engaged.
them,
Engage.
wonderful. What about number 5? Be consistent. Be consistent. How? Consistency with rules all the time. Tell them to follow the rules, clear expectations, but something that kids can look forward to school-wide classroom based. Here, try to put the norms and the written rules in front of them next to the board to be visible and seen all the time. So this is very important to be consistent. The teacher should be consistent. Please, my dear lovely students, follow the rules if they do not follow them. So again, let's memorize again. Number 1, let's memorize. Yeah, number 1.
Connect with the
Connect.
students.
The second
Connect.
one. Yes, the second
Starting
one.
with expectation.
Wonderful. Number 3.
Teach and
Teach and
reteach.
reteach.
Teach and reteach. 4. Excellent. 4.
Keep them engaged.
Engaged.
Keep them engaged. 5.
Be consistent.
Be consistent. Number 6. And this is very, very significant. Number 5 or number 6, huh? Reward positive
Reward
behavior.
positive behavior.
And of course, the rewarding system is very magical with them. Reward positive behavior by any way, by stars, by worded charts, by faces, by races, by games, by songs, by activities, but whatever means of reward, you ask your learners to choose and agree to write them on a worded chart and stick next to the board, okay? So let's move to part 2, the classroom management, classroom language. But before we talk about the classroom management, I'll share you a video, okay, to talk about classroom management. So are you ready for a video? Are you ready to watch a video?
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you? Okay, so let's share a video about classroom management. Is it okay till now? Is it okay?
Yes, but the idea is if just a question, Ms. Firdaus, for that. If we make all these steps and we stick to the rules and everything, and at the same time we didn't have the ability to control our classroom. So what's the problem?
You have to be consistent again, Mr. Ahmed. You have to be consistent. Consistency is the magic word for all of these. If you ask them to follow the rules, they follow it one day, and you don't care about the other days. You have to start from the beginning again. So all the time, it's very important to be consistent every day. And if you noticed in the slides,
so I try to, most of the time to stick the rules in every
day.
Yes,
every day to remind them, and you have to ask them to choose what kind of punishment. And of course, we said that we don't mean punishment by hitting or saying bad words or to be violent with them. No, not at all. طبعا لا، ولكن to choose which thing they like, they will be deprived from if they don't do it. This is very important. Consistency is the key word and the magic word for all classroom management, of course. So let's watch a video. I think a video is more effective in these cases. So let's watch a video together about classroom management. Here is pronunciation. Let's see it together.
Students misbehave in the classroom, why kids challenge adults. In this video, I will share the real reason why students misbehave in the classroom, why kids challenge adults, and how to deal.
I think you'll find the answer in this video, Mr. Ahmed, إن شاء الله. Why
إن شاء
kids
الله.
misbehave، يعني ليه برضه سلوكهم بيبقى سيء أو وحش، على الرغم إن إحنا طول الوقت فعلا we follow the rules or ask them to follow the rules. I think you'll find your answer إن شاء الله. Okay.
إن شاء الله.
Deal with these situations when they occur. Watch this video until the end, like and subscribe, and share with someone that needs to hear this. Okay, everyone, I'm Eric from Reteach. Let's discuss information that can change your life. Why kids misbehave in the classroom. When I was studying to become a teacher, myself and every other student wanted to know why kids misbehave. Because if we knew that, we would be more confident in the classroom and more accurately react when something did happen. We soon learned that professors, senior teachers, and most of all, educational researchers had no idea why students misbehaved and how to correctly deal with it. Instead, they gave us cliches, unreliable advice, and told us once we gained enough experience, we would figure it out. Shake my head. When people don't understand something, they lie to cover it up. Luckily for you, I'm here, and I'm going to share my theory on why kids act out and how we as educators should deal with it. Perhaps it's right, perhaps it's not. But you can be sure that at the end of this video, you'll have a better understanding of your students' minds and become a better, more confident teacher. So why do kids misbehave? They act out to protect themselves. Kids want to feel safe, so they have developed this instinct to test leaders to make sure they are powerful enough to make good decisions, have self-belief, and lead the group to a prosperous future. Thousands of years ago, if you had a bad leader and they made a horrible decision, that could destroy the tribe. You could get eaten by wild animals, you could get attacked by another tribe. Therefore, we have to test our leaders to make sure that they are competent and reliable. You have to remember that public schooling has only been around for 150 years. Compare that to how humans have evolved over thousands and thousands of years to have that instinct to survive. And children, as the most vulnerable part of society, has also learned how to survive by testing their leaders. But you might think, Eric, stop. Not all my students challenge me. I've got some well-disciplined, gorgeous children that are just a treasure in class. Yeah, the whole nurture versus nature argument. Someone that comes from a good home's needs have already been met, and they've already learned that their leaders, their parents, take good care of them, and they've been disciplined to listen to authority figures. Whereas if someone is from a bad neighborhood, their leaders have failed them, and it's more difficult to earn their trust because they come from a difficult place. That's why a lot of your most difficult students will come from bad neighborhoods. They have lost faith in their leaders, and it's going to be extra difficult for you to regain their trust.
يبقى هو جاوب هنا مستر أحمد على السؤال، قال حاجة مهمة جدا وخطيرة. Learners try to protect themselves, so they test their leader. If their teacher is able to protect them, they will be more obedient and confident. And another important point, it depends on the homes they come from. طريقة التربية والبيت اللي جايين منه.
Yes, neighbors.
Yes, nurture, neighborhoods. Yes, if they are coming from a family, they tell them to be polite and respect their teachers, their leaders.
This is a big problem that faces us. This is a big problem that faces us.
Yes.
So we can't control this.
So as a teacher,
we will never
course,
control this.
Yes, you cannot, but you as a model, if the children love you as a real leader for them, and
Yes.
they feel you protect them all the time, they will
Yeah.
be يعني هيستجيبوا اكتر هيتغيروا they will change for the better they will be better one time after another يعني
Even
بطريقة
they
أو
like
بأخرى
you
كده.
as a teacher. Even they
Yeah.
like the teacher. Just yes.
And it's very important to know that if they feel like you can protect them and you can stop anyone who can be violent with them. يعني دايما لو
Yes.
لو
Yes.
اتاكدوا
To
ان
protect
مثلا
them and
لو
to defend
لو
them.
حد
Yes.
من صحابهم بالظبط ضربهم
بيضايقهم
او
أو
او
بيضايقهم وأنت
تعدى على
بتدافع عنهم.
حقهم او ضايقهم
وأنت بتدافع عنهم.
وحضرتك دفعت عنهم وعلمتهم الصح والغلط لا they will respect you they will follow the rules and they will obey you and they'll go homes
يعني فعلا أكون فريند
until
ليهم، أكون صديق ليهم بس
بالظبط
أكتر يعني.
and they tell their parents no the teacher told us this is bad and I'm not going to do it. لأن في للأسف الشديد في ناس بيقولوا لأولادهم لو المستر زعق لك لا رد عليه وبجح فيه ما تخلوش يزعق لك أو
هو ده
لو
اللي بيحصل
ضربك
ده.
او لو ضربك ما تسمحلوش قول له لا ده انا هجيب بابا يشتكيك ويعمل ويسوي.
أيوه هو ده
طبعا
اللي
this is
بيحصل
bad.
عليهم. ده
فالفكرة
بيحصل،
بالظبط كده
ده الواقع
if
الحالي
they
يعني.
feel طبعا of course if they feel they are equal they will be all treated in the same way and the teacher is fair with all of them and the teacher is not trying to dominate or have a power or authority over them. The teacher loves them as a father or as a mother or as one of their friends. He can protect them, he can answer their questions, he can be a child or a friend or someone like them. They will feel safe to tell you about their fears and they will trust you and be sure that you will deal with them in a fair way or
So
they
I
are
try
all
as much
equal.
as I can to be a parent and to be a friend for them.
Yeah,
Just
sure. And to be fair and
yes.
never avoid listening to them actively and listen to their problems. يعني sometimes ممكن تلاقي ولد صغير او بنوته ممكن طول حصه بتعيط او ساكته او نايمه على الديسك وحضرتك لو طنشتها تاكد ان هي المره الجايه يا اما هتضرب زمايلها يا اما هتقرصهم مثلا او هتضايقهم او تزقهم. فما كناش نقف احنا as teachers to understand their problems and try to solve them even if it takes a whole lesson no problem. لو خدنا حصة كاملة نعرفهم لا ان هم كلهم they are all friends واحنا هنا كلنا احنا جايين علشان لا احنا كلنا اطفال كلنا اخوات كلنا بنحب بعض وبنحترم بعض. يعني دايما في حتة عند الاطفال اصل هم بيكرهوني اصل هم مش عايزين يكلموني اصل هم كلهم مخاصميني. This is a real problem. If the teacher cannot solve a problem like this, the teacher will be the learner will be violent first with the learners because he's young.
And
He
with the
cannot
teacher.
say yes, of course. He
Yes.
cannot punish the teacher. He cannot punish the teacher for keeping silent and trying to stay away to solve their problem.
He will be violent with the teacher.
Yeah,
Yes.
he will be violent with his friends or with the other students when he's young, and
Yes.
he will be violent with the teacher and annoy the teacher all the time when he becomes older or in higher stages like for example primary 5 or 4.
Yes.
They will start to revolute يعني خلاص بقى بيتمردوا
Yes.
وما بيسكتوش وبيعملوا دوشه. هي دي بقى المشكله ان هم مش بيحسوا بامان ان التيتشر بيحميهم ما بيحسوش ان المدرس عادل مع الكل. يعني ممكن اصل الولد ده مؤدب فانا عارف ان ده ما بيغلطش فكده كده طول الوقت لو غلط ما حدش هيعمل له حاجه وانا كده كده هم عارفين ان انا وحش وسيء فكده كده انا بتعاقب طول الوقت. ف this is the real problem. If you are not able to solve their problems and understand their fears and how they need more protection from the teacher and to deal with them as they are all equal, they will annoy the teacher.
When we solve their problems, it takes long time, and the problems did not end.
No. If you solve the problem from the beginning, if you are more friendly to your learners and you focus, you observe. It's very important to observe them. When someone is crying or staying away or sitting aside from the others or feels avoided from all his friends, if you solve the problem from the very beginning, if you observe them all the time and someone is ill, someone is silent وهو مش متعود انه يكون ساكت هو بيتكلم فجأة سكت. If you solve the problem from the very beginning and cut the roots of the problems, of course
Yes.
you will gain their brains and hearts at the same time. حضرتك هتكسب بقى عقولهم وقول لهم لا ده مستر احمد بيحبنا وبيخاف علينا وهيصالحنا. طب هيبقى في بس بروبلم ان هم اي حاجه هتحصل هيجي يقول لك يا مستر طب ده اصل فلان ضايقني no problem at all. حضرتك اسمعهم listen to them actively and try to solve their problems and of course you will manage them because they will be ready to satisfy you all the time. هم عارفين ان محدش هيجيب حقنا ويحمينا غير مستر احمد فهيرضوك بكل الطرق بعد كده باذن الله. Yes it takes time of course طبعا بتاخد مننا وقت but till this point you will be able to control them and you will be the different teacher who can get, who can have the power over them by love
Yes.
not by power itself. بالحب بقى مش
Yes.
بالايه مش بالقوه. يعني
العنف
ممكن مدرس بيدخل بالظبط اللي ممكن مثلا الولاد بيحبوا مستر فلان مجرد ما وقف ساكت بس او حد قال لهم طب خلاص هندي مستر احمد خلاص الولاد كلهم عارفين ان لا هنسكت ما ينفعش نزعله. ومدرس تاني لو قالوا له طب احنا هنجيب لك مستر فلان هيهيصوا ويعملوا دوشه وزيطه والمدرسه كلها
أخدوا
تسمعهم.
عنه
طب
فكرة
مش
بقى خلاص، أخدوا عنه فكرة وحشة.
بالظبط بالظبط. ونقطة مهمة جدا قال لك students or learners tested the teacher بيختبروه test their leaders and they behave as their parents behave at home and their neighbors and of course all children and people by instinct بالفطرة they have the desire to survive. عندهم حتة اللي هو اللي هي رغبة البقاء ان هو عايز يبين بقى ان هو بياخد حقه وان هو لا انا مش عبيط او ما حدش هيقدر يضربني وهكذا. يعني بيبقى نوع من انواع التمرد او الرفض يعني objection يعني.
Yes, yes.
But these are extremes, and there are many variables in children's behavior. This is only a basic explanation on why students challenge authority. So you might be thinking, why do some teachers struggle with this? Why aren't we more prepared, especially when we first enter the occupation? Most teachers aren't ready for this. We've been conditioned our whole lives to be followers, and unless you're a natural leader, which most of us aren't, we have a tough time dealing with attacks on social hierarchy. When school first starts, learners are nice, but over the course of the next few weeks and months, they will continually test their teacher. If your leadership fails, the attacks will escalate until it becomes very difficult for the teacher. You'll definitely start feeling that atmosphere in the classroom. They'll start asking unnecessary questions. They'll rebel against the rules you've created. You'll get a lot more backchat. These acts of defiance are to check the reaction of the teacher. And every time the teacher fails, they'll fall lower in the pecking order and the student will take a more dominant role. Okay, Eric, I understand that students challenge teachers. So how do I deal with these tests? Most advice columns and teaching blogs suggest building close relationships with your students. Earn their trust, make them like you, and let them understand that you are in this together. How sweet. Yes and no. You cannot like someone you don't respect. Building a personal relationship with students is a fundamental part of being a good teacher, but it has to come from the right place. You as the leader making good decisions for your class. They have to invest in you and trust you to lead them into a prosperous future. The problem is that it's a very nuanced point to say create a good relationship with your students. Because most teachers believe, oh, I will do nice things for them. I will be kind. I will give them candy. I will give them attention. My classroom will be filled with love. And if you offer that to them without leadership, that will only last a short time. Because your value isn't that of a strong, powerful leader showing them the way. It is that of a follower doing nice things for them. You cannot be a great leader without gaining the respect of your students first, and then showing them love second. I can see some of you starting to get that aha moment. Let me give you a good example to cement this idea. Let's take this another route. Imagine you go to a girl and you ask her, what is your idea of the ideal man? She might say something along the lines of, I want someone that takes care of me, that's sweet and kind, and that listens to me. In the minds of most guys, they will think, oh, that's all I need to do. I need to tell this girl she's beautiful. I have to buy her flowers. I have to take care of her every need. And then she will give me love. The same way that teachers think, oh, if I'm just kind to my students, they will reward me with their love. But you know where this is already going. If a guy does this for a girl, will she love him? In most cases, no. If this guy comes without any value and he just gives love and attention to someone who doesn't respect him or doesn't know that he brings more to the table, she won't love him. She might let him hang around her, she might listen to him, but will she ever love and respect him? No. In fact, she'll be apathetic to him or actually despise him. And it's the same for kids. If you don't bring value and then care, they will only see you as a follower and not a leader in the classroom. Okay, so you understand the behaviorist concept. Children will challenge you to make sure you are a good leader. And they will continue to do that as long as you are in education. You've got to expect it. Now here's the magic pill. When you get tested by a student, don't take it personally. Don't think, oh, the student is attacking me. They're trying to push me down. You have to see that as an opportunity. Every single time a student rebels or gives you a bad answer or disrespects you, you've got to be happy. You've got to say, listen, finally, another chance to show the class that I am the one in control. Be happy every time a student does something bad because that's an opportunity to make yourself even stronger in the eyes of your students. Make that shift. Every time something bad happens, be happy, face it strong. Don't be angry, but be firm in your rules. They will see that this is a teacher with boundaries. And every time they attack these boundaries, you just build up and become stronger. Get that into your head. Don't be weak. Don't be sad. Be happy and fair. Guys, this is the one thing I wish I was taught as a teacher. I wish people told me, Eric, kids are gonna test you. But instead of getting angry, embrace it and become a better teacher. You will feel yourself become more powerful every time you do this.
Another point برضه مستر أحمد إن هو قال don't take it personally. يعني ما نتعاملش مع الموضوع على إن هو حاجة شخصية. ان الولد او الطفل بيتحداني انا، لا، هو بيعبر عن نفسه او بيعايز حد يهتم بيه او بيلفت الانتباه. فبالعكس يعني take it to be more stronger in front of your students and try to use it positively. ان انا بستخدم الموقف ده بلاقي ان الولاد نفسهم بقى طب بسكت as a teacher